So,
Hi.
hi.
We,
We're talking about drinking chemicals.
yeah, we are.
We
Uh,
found bleach makes an excellent chaser with Tide Pods. Welcome.
we're we're talking about a show,
That's what we're actually doing.
kind of.
Kinda,
Oh,
sort of,
I don't know. We'll get to it.
maybe.
Like right now, interviews with Monster Girls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
a show.
as we always start with, yay or nay on
Oh,
interviews with Monster Girls.
alright. I wasn't sure if you were gonna have any more with that statement or
I,
not,
I
but
I'm so there is this bug that is literally like in my face. Oh my god! Die!
slap your face harder. I'm sure you'll get it.
I got it. I think I got it. I think we're good.
But to answer your initial question, I'd say, yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah. All right. I mean,
Um,
it was. I think. I was ready for you to like it specifically because it had ties to some shows that you've really liked on this show before.
um, One of the ways you described it to me was you said that this show was a lot like Monster Musume,
I I only said that because it had elements in it, like, oh look, we're
just
we're dealing
monster
with
girls.
we're dealing with supernatural girls, but like, they're
It the and like one of the things that was very different about it was this was a very cute series.
yes, it was. We're not
It
we're
was
not doing the whole.
There was no real etchiness to it except for one character who that's her thing because she's a succubus.
Yeah, you didn't have much choice on that one.
Oh yeah, no, succubus kind of have to be because that is what they are. But otherwise, the show is very cute. Um, it only took me like I think like two episodes to really get kind of like hooked into it.
My takeaway and why I compared it to Monster Monsume in particular was because it took the idea of Monster Monsume and came at it from a different angle. Like, we're dealing with different age groups than what Monster Monsume was.
Um, yeah, like in Monster Musume, like they don't really specify too much like what the age of each of the characters are. You assume that they're like adult.
But they act very mature.
Hmm.
And
Like I'm pretty sure that they're not like actual like school students because they don't go to schools. But in this series, it all revolves around a high school. Like so, the whole premise of the show is um there's a high school that one of the biology teachers, Tetsuo Takahashi, he he's very fascinated with the fact that um basically monster people are like coming out and are being more like mingled in with society, but they're not common. They're very rare, and
do
he's never met one before.
do you want to point out that also they're saying it's not they're not traditional monsters. They're humans with genetic mutations.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because
It is more like just a mutation.
as opposed to like there's like they'd classify it as like gigantism where you have I wouldn't say a disease. It would be like a disability.
It's it's kind of like dwarfism in a sense,
Yeah,
where
or
it's
elephantitis or
it's just a mutation. It doesn't really affect them except in like certain ways.
yeah, a genetic thing.
Yeah,
I thought I wanted to point that out because like
they're not
Hikari
just. What's up?
Like Hikari is a vampire, but that doesn't mean she's like actually like.
Yes, she doesn't follow like the tropes of what a vampire you'd expect a vampire to be. And they point that out. Like the whole thing with with Takahashi is like he's never met one, but he's always wanted to like interview them or like talk to them and learn more about them. Just basically for his own growth, like because he wants to know out of scientific curiosity.
Yeah, and
And
he's also like published papers on these.
or he wants to write like a basically like a thesis paper on them
Yeah,
for like a university or something. But basically what happens is coincidentally, shockingly enough, he meets Hikari, or he learns that she's new in the school that year and she's a vampire. Well, later on, he also learns that there's Machi and Yuki as well. Well, Yuki is a snow girl, and Machi is a Dullahan, one of the only three known in existence.
yeah, that was a weird one. Them trying to scientifically explain.
Shocking. But then also a new teacher started that year, Saki.
Can I just say, like, they introduced Saki first
Yes.
without the underlying tone. You just thought that there was some sort of tension.
Yes. And it turns out Saki is a succubus. Well, the whole way that the succubus works is unless she basically like covers herself up and makes her as little as like non-appealing as possible, she just basically lets out like like a huge amount of pheromones that just like drive men crazy. And
Should we get to one of my favorite parts of the show?
like let me finish real quick.
Okay.
So the whole thing is about like Takahashi is just kind of like getting to know basically those four and kind of like making them feel like not weird and like normal while also learning about them and like kind of like helping them integrate into like normal society and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was it was it was Takahashi's own growth plus plus these the three young ones, Hikari, Machi, and Yuki. So they're a group, and then Saki, I'd say, is like
She has her own growth.
she has her own arch. Well, like because Takahashi has his own arc. The three youngins have their arc, and then Saki has her own arc.
Yeah, like they each have their own little arc of like character development.
I think they're
And, like
juggled
this
pretty well.
basically coming to terms that they accept who they are.
Yeah. And how their particular conditions affect others,
In a way.
or like how to control things, like the snow girl turning things into ice.
Or like afraid that her powers will go crazy and she'll like hurt somebody.
Yeah.
When in reality she doesn't have that much power. And it's just yeah.
But
So
you see, but like the three students are pretty much tied together with their arc, where you
yeah.
have two, where it juggles the two other arcs intertwined with that.
Yeah.
And I think it does that well, which is why I wanted to point out that there are three arcs, because it feels more like a show that way, because they juggle those three arcs as opposed to it being just one straight storyline.
Yeah. Like this series is a lot about the characters, which is one of the reasons why I liked it. Like there isn't really too much of like a story line or anything like that. It's just it's like focus on the characters. If that makes any sense.
I'd say for the three students, it's interpersonal growth. Then when you get to Takashi, it's about his personal understanding,
Yeah.
and Saki is personal growth. So one is understanding, and there's two storylines of growth, but in two different aspects. Because the teacher has to, like Saki, the teacher, has to isolate herself, and it's her getting over her isolation. Where it's the kids are learning to interact and how to interact, being as different as they are.
Yeah. No, like I completely agree with that. Like they're all like they're basically like Hikari doesn't have a problem with her being a vampire or anything like that, but like a couple things with like Yuki, she was like worried about her being like a snow woman and like interacting with other people, and then Machi was like basically people wouldn't address the like she felt awkward because like nobody would address her being a Dullahan. They're trying to ignore the fact, which that kind of made her feel isolated in a sense, and like she was trying to get over that, and like Hikari was also trying to like help the two and everything like that, and it was really good that like the three of them were all about like trying to fit in a sense and like learning how to do that and, while building their own friendship.
Yeah, I I appreciated it more than a lot of the other monster shows that we've had, specifically because it was more about these characters filling into a role or like making the role of their own.
Yeah. Like
Because
it was just it was good. Like
well, I was gonna say just because we've had a history of like let's say Monster Mansume, what were
don't you
some
be dissing.
well I'm not particularly saying anything bad about them.
Them's fighting words, boy.
What's the other one? The vampire one. The
Helsing?
no, the vampire, the one with the pink hair that turns.
Oh, Rosario X Vampire.
Yeah, Rosario X Vampire, where you get to this like either everybody's different or everybody, like these things are to be expected. This kind of takes that and goes like, hey, this is just something that people have to learn to live with in society, and how they go about figuring out themselves in society. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was it yes, I agree with what you were saying. Like
There's
I'm trying to find words, but like
okay,
you summarized it very well.
it's the social aspect of being a monster in society as opposed to being a monster and interpersonal relation, or like specifically a romantic relationship, where this is more of a hey, interpersonal relationships plural.
Yes.
That's
Between a lot of people.
between not just people with abilities but people
Without
remove
them.
without them, and society
Yes.
and in and of itself.
Like quote unquote normal humans like learning to interact and stuff with them.
But you also kind of see why I was having trouble describing it, because I'm like, it's like Monster Mansume but not. It's like Rosario Vampire but really not, because it's
No, like basically the main thing that they share with those is they involve monster people or like
see what I'd say is that they share similar concepts. There's a monster, girl, school, plural, whatever, but as opposed to it being relationship singular love focused, it's again a more inclusive societal view.
yeah.
So I that's just how I put it together. Anyway, I thought it was cute. It
I
was
thought it was very cute.
like in terms of shows that we've watched that I like it's not often that I'm like, oh my goodness, cute show, go watch it. But like
Hanamaru Kindergarten.
but but it's one of those shows that's cute but also has like a message to it that
Yeah.
you can't diss. Like it comes from a really good place and it's well done.
Yes. Yes. So
All right.
I completely like I agree. Question I got for you.
Okay.
Um, this is just like basically like fawning over moment. Who is your favorite character?
Okay. Um my favorite character has to be Takahashi.
Fair enough. Like,
So my argument with saying Takahashi's obviously the best is he puts everything in to helping these people.
yes, he is a very good dude.
So he's like completely selfless, and then so we're getting to highly spoiler territory. At one point, um the principal goes like,
Vice
"Hey,
principal.
vice principal goes like, "Hey, you got to stop this shit cuz you're giving these three students way more attention than the rest of your students." And
And you're basically isolating them.
yeah, and you can't do that. Or no, it wasn't that you're isolating them. It's
It
that
was what was it? It was pretty much like you're kind of letting them not interact like with other
yeah,
students and stuff.
well, it was. I like to think that it was around the idea of preferential treatment. Like, hey,
That too.
you're
Like it
you're
was
letting
that
them
too.
get away with things because you're, and like, it was one of those moments that you're like, yeah, no, you could totally see uh where that line of thinking had some merit to the
Yeah.
point where Takahashi's like questioning himself.
Like he's just like maybe I have been.
Yeah, because you don't see him interacting with many other uh, students,
Yeah.
and you really feel bad for him. But at the same point, he didn't do anything wrong. Um, he actually cares about his students, and I mean, obviously, it looks like he's giving preferential treatment, but preferential treatment to characters that or to students that literally asked for his help or like
Exactly.
were
Like
drawn to his help.
they're like the only students who really have like gone up to like help him and stuff, or like there was like those two background dudes and stuff that like bumped into him or something like that, and like he was talking with them, and then he just like went on a train of thought and like was just standing there. Like he wasn't he was interacting with like other students just fine. It's just those three in particular go to Takahashi because he actually helps them and like takes the time to care.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Um, sorry, I'm getting messages all over the place. Um, but okay, so one of the huge things, and this is something that is both goddamn hilarious. Okay, this is one of the funniest points in the entire show.
Oh yeah,
I
you were gonna say what your like your favorite part was or
but
something.
but this also goes into why Takahashi is the best character. Period.
I
Okay?
think I might know what part this is.
So, Saki is coming down the hall.
Yes.
She drops some shit, right? She drops some papers, and Takahashi's all like, "Oh, okay. Let me help you out. Let me just be a good guy, right?" So he hands the stuff back, and she touches his hand.
Now a little bit of premise to this is
S-
if she makes any physical contact with any male, like it immediately triggers like the whole pheromone thing, regardless of if she's like
Regardless of
re-
cover, and it's
how
it's
unsexualized she's trying to be.
it's direct contact. Direct contact equals just all sorts of male.
Excitement.
Yes.
So
So she accidentally touches his hand, and this man holds his shit together 100%.
oh my God, yes, like that like surprised the fuck out of me. I was
So
just like, holy shit, because you got a glimpse of it beforehand. You
yeah,
see like one of the students, male students, accidentally bumps into her, and he just like starts like freaking out and basically acting all weird.
yeah. So characters that actually have contact with Saki have a problem, and he has contact with her, and he holds it together. Like this poor man blew his blue balls out of his ass, like just on sheer clenching power alone.
Oh my gosh. I love that he walks away after that interaction. She's like taken aback like,
She's
"Oh my gosh, my effects doesn't work on him. What
yeah,
is this?" Like she's super happy that she found somebody that it doesn't work on.
and can I say, at that point, the viewer also thinks that there might be something behind Takahashi not being affected. Because I don't know about you. I don't know about you, and I'm not going to make claims for anybody else. But for me, I was like, is he just immune to, like, is he asexual, or is he like immune to, or just is he like some sort of deviation where he's immune to
Yeah.
this
Like
power, or like,
I was
something.
wondering if maybe like I was thinking maybe the whole like thing that they were gonna say was like, oh, his interactions with all of the other like monster girls and stuff makes him kind of like build up a little resistance and stuff to
And he
any like
fucking
weird stuff.
turns the corner, collapses against a wall, clutches his chest like he just had a fucking heart attack. I was like, yes.
And like his just like thoughts are just like, oh my god, she's so sexy.
Yes.
And
He's he is trashed.
I fucking
Completely
lost it during that.
completely trashed. But he held it together specifically for her, and I can't applaud a character enough for that shit. Like
I know, like he's such a gentleman about that.
he is a boss.
And like it also leads to her like still thinking this because like he holds the shit together every time. Like any sort of interaction with her, he
Oh,
holds it together. And then there's the pool episode.
oh, and she fucking tests him.
Oh my god, like
Oh, she undoes the front of her, like she's like, oh, it's warm. Her undoes the front of her tracksuit, and he's just losing it the entire time. Oh, it's great.
those balls are purple.
Oh, as I said, those blue balls shot straight out of his ass.
Like the fucking pool episode, because like once you see like Saki like out of her tracksuit and stuff, like yeah, she's pretty hot.
Oh
But
yeah.
like and like then there's like the whole pool episode where he's just like he like got the approval for all like the girl like the all the main girls and stuff to like go and swim and stuff, and he invited Saki to do it too as like a chaperone. And then as soon as they like start swimming and stuff, he's like, okay, I'll be in the science room or whatever. And she's just like, where are you going? And
Oh
he's just
yeah.
like,
She's
and like he was thinking about her, which was very nice. Like he's like, you don't get a much of a chance to be out in public and like
and be able
not
to
have to
do
cover
these
up and
things
stuff.
exactly.
Like you can't be like as open and like carefree basically about yourself in a normal public setting.
He is selfless to a flaw.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous. And like then she basically shows like opens up her tracksuit and like reveals her swimsuit, and he's just like, how is there not a tent in those trunks?
Yeah, really.
He's got to have like prepared by like taping it down or something.
Tape it up. Tape. just wears like a full like G string of tape. just to
Pretty
hold it in
much.
place.
Because, god damn.
But I, yeah, go watch it. It's good.
Yeah. So,
It's, I'll put it this way: it's good to the point of, I mean, like I had no expectations going into it. I think that helped a lot. Cause,
yeah.
like looking at the art style and just the characters in general, they just looked very like cheesy, cutesy.
Hmm.
But like going into it, like the characters actually had the depth. Like they're like we've had some trouble with some characters not having depth
Oh, yeah.
from a lot of different shows and a lot of different angles. But these they had a storyline behind them, and it worked.
Yeah. And, like, just the premise of the show's good. And, like, even if you're not into, even if, like, the whole cutesy thing doesn't grab you, the show is funny. Like, it's got a lot of good humor in it. Like, very soft humor.
It doesn't. Well, that's just the thing. It doesn't sacrifice the funny moments because it's cute.
Exactly. Like, one of the funnier moments was, like, it was earlier and stuff where, like, Machi, like, uh, gets to go on a quote-unquote date with Takahashi because she has, like, a crush on him.
Oh yeah, Machi has a crush. And those are
And,
some
like,
weird things.
they go out on a quote-unquote, like, date. Like, she sees it as a date, and Takahashi's just like, oh, I'm just gonna spend the day here. So that way she can get out and stuff. And, like, he carries her head, and she leaves her body with Hikari. And
Oh,
in the middle of them just kind
oh,
of like sitting down or something like that, she just like gets a weird look on her face, and it goes to like her Hikari and her body at Hikari's place, and like she's just like starting to freak out because like she's got to use the bathroom.
oh my god! And
And
then trying to
like
communicate with oh goodness.
yeah, and like her, and like she has so much practice because like her head's permanently detached from her body. Like her body's able to like write down like I need to use the bathroom. And like Hikari's also just like fucking with the body too. It's
Oh, it
hilarious.
is
Like just messing with it, like tickling it and shit like that too.
that
Like earlier.
that was a series of bullshit that I was not prepared for.
Oh, it was so great. Like it's got just like funny little moments like that, but it's a really cute series.
Can I also say this is one of those shows that like their ability, like them being monsters, matters
It kind of does. Like
because
it actually physically like affects them.
it affects. It doesn't just affect them. It affects the show.
Y- yeah.
Like I remember Rosario Vampire, like their abilities, their things didn't affect the show until like the last episode.
Like the whole yeah. Yeah. No,
The
I remember that.
what was and like there's besides them being like monsters in Monster Mansume, their abilities don't really affect how the show plays out.
Um Later in the manga they kind of do.
But I'm saying from the show
In
wise.
the show
So
itself. No, they it was kind of yeah, it like I really wish the show would get a second season because like after those initial 12 like in where the books are, it gets so much better, like way better.
but that was
But
something that's something that we say for like the video game shows
yeah,
is like, okay, why is this a video game world and not just a world?
yeah,
So
that's why
like
a lot of like series and stuff, new series that are coming out, like mangas and everything, um focus around the fact of not like being in like a video game, but basically reincarnation or teleportation to an alternate world.
Yeah. Where it's one of those things that it comes up so often for us, and we don't really get a good example of these things done right. Like, why would, like, for the most part, let's say Hikari, she's a vampire. It doesn't matter that she's a vampire, right? Like, she's got a slight allergy to like the heat and light, which is why she prefers his room. That's like all the side effects of her. But like the actual two different entities that are Machi, her head and her body, led to actual plot
Yeah.
where that you don't see that in other shows that have similar aspects to them. Again, it's like the world, and or like somebody has this ability. Why does that come into play in the storytelling? It actually came into play here, which is why I appreciated it more.
Yeah. Like it built upon it built upon just the whole like story aspect.
Okay, well, we should probably wrap this one up. We've been talking for quite a while here.
Well, there's a lot to talk about.
There was a lot to talk about. But that being said, we also got more shows to talk about. I don't know, what are we introducing next?
Well, since
I don't remember which one we're on.
well, the last one I gave you was Why Are You Here, Sensei? But I have to give you a new one now.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
yeah. Um, so from what I saw, I'm pretty sure the first season's finally done, or it's been done for a while, at least a couple weeks, I want to say. I'm finally going to give you Rising of the Shield Hero, or the Rising of the Shield Hero.
Okay, sure. This is, no, look, Crunchyroll has it. Alright.
It should, like, the series is like super popular.
All the way up to 25 episodes already.
Was the 25th released recently then?
I don't know.
Because last I saw, like, I thought they were done, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure it's 25 is
Where it stopped.
where the season stopped at least.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to watch that then.
Yeah, because my thing is showing 25, and that was updated back in June.
Good,
So
good shit, yo.
yeah, first season's done. So yeah,
Alright.
I'm giving you Rising of the Shield Hero.
Sweet. Gonna go watch that.
So,
Bye.
all right, bye, I guess.
Bye.